guys, welcome back to Clockwork Noodles for another breakdown of Sugar Apple Fairy Tale. We're on episode 9, there's 3 episodes left. We're starting to draw towards the end of the season now, guys. So make sure you guys are subscribed because there's 2 big videos going your way. Number 1, I'm doing my wrap-up video where I'll be judging the entire season, crowning my best animes, and also giving out some fun awards. I do enjoy giving out fun awards, they tend to be hilariously fun. There's also going to be the next season overview where I look at the spring season, tell you guys what I'm going to be planning to watch, what am I watching in my own time, and what videos will be broken down on the channel. There's going to be a few of them. I really hope that you guys can join me next season. Fingers crossed that you are going to be watching some of the same stuff that I am too. I will apologise in advance. I am a little bit ill. I don't think it's too noticeable, but hopefully we can get through the video without me sounding too ropey. Sometimes I've made these videos being really ill, and I think I've sounded absolutely fine in the recordings. I didn't enjoy the episode. I'm going to do my best to just break it down in my normal way, explain exactly the bits that irritated me. I know sometimes as soon as I take a negative stance on things, it's generally when the hate starts. Initially, it does seem there's been a bit of a time skip. It's been a year. I'm fine with the plot taking longer than it's appeared, but it doesn't really feel like it's been a year, which is my first issue. It does seem that we have actually missed bits. These missing bits are very important, which is why I'm a little more irritated with it. Let's talk about the collision that nearly happened. In UK law, Cat would have been the one at fault. He's the one who is cutting up a main road. Even if Anne had been swerving just a little bit on the main road, and it looks like Cat is cutting her up, he has to give way to oncoming traffic anyway. In my eyes, Cat, you just wanted to be angry for no reason. And it does seem like the anime likes to crap on Anne quite a bit, sometimes unnecessarily. And most of the time it's unnecessarily. We're just going to yell at Anne because she's not looking where she's going, but she was on a main road, and I don't even think daydreaming would have caused that horse to have shifted too much. Our next big issue in the plot is going to be the poor weather, thus resulting in a sugar apple shortage. Hugh has created a new law that puts a lot of people out of business and also just monopolizes sugar candy in general, just to the people who are official. I get this, but it does also screw anybody over if people grow apples. A sugar artisan who grows apples, but you're not a member of any of those organizations, you're breaking a law if you go and harvest those yourself. As much as I love Hugh, and up until this point he's been my hero, not a popular one for me, Hugh, so big old thumbs down from me over here. Nobody has informed Anne. It's now revealed that people have been harassing Anne. We don't know about any of this because, guess what? We have skipped the plot. We have skipped the moments where this could have been shown. We've skipped the moments where Anne's popularity sinking hasn't been mentioned or briefly touched upon, which is quite irritating if you're going to start pulling a plot like this, which would build upon all of these experiences that we haven't really used. With the skip, it did feel like we were just learning everything via the use of an info dump. You guys know how I feel about info dumping. So just show me how it is and I work things out on myself. Up until this point, we actually haven't heard anything. This has been passed and it's showing you there's a hierarchy and how laws might be passed in this world, that the little people just don't get a say on anything. I'm sad because this is an anime that I have really enjoyed. I've been praising up until this point. Sure, I had a wobble. Anne is being ostracized and we're also not seeing these reasons. Weird, because last time we saw Hugh, he was on her side. He didn't want to come and say anything to her. He didn't want to make sure that she was informed on the new law or anything. None of the people in these schools want to help her, which is really irritating as well. And considering the last episode ended on such a nice high note, us now making this 180, quite a sharp left turn, and I can imagine if you read the actual light novel, this is fine to you. It's probably been shown in the pages of the light novel, but in the anime, it hasn't really been shown. Anne's actually been welcomed occasionally, or we've seen her dealing with one tough duke, and that's about it. Forces the direction quite hard. If she wants to enter a workshop, the workshops are ostracizing her. It would make this very, very difficult. But up until this point has been really, really good. I like the plot. Sugar Apple score for me has taken a dive for me this episode, and I will be amending that on Mal in a little bit. Jonas. I even said last time that I don't want any more Jonas in the plot, and I know people think that he's necessary for the plot. He's not being reprimanded for his behaviour yet again. We're still seeing that they took his side. She caused issues for him, despite the fact that if you are his school, you would know what Jonas's work looks like, and him entering a piece that suddenly doesn't match up with his work. Most universities will call you out for plagiarism or copying if you are suddenly producing a bit of work that doesn't line up with your normal work style. Irritated because he's back. He's a character who really just ruins my enjoyment of the show through and through. We also get to deal with a nice touch of sexism this week. And up until this point, Anne's gender hasn't really been an issue. It's never really been the defining problem of the anime. She's been allowed to help people. Her gender's never really been an issue. Hugh never made an issue. She was allowed to enter the competition last year. Nobody batted an eyelid that she was a woman or anything. But it does feel now that we're just bringing it up just to cause more tension in the plot. It already felt like there was tension in the plot anyway, so now we're just adding it in for the sake of hitting all of those negative points. There's also the rule about the fairy, which is pretty much trash. Kat enters with the same type of fairy that Mithril is. To their eyes, two fairies, and one of them isn't going to be helping, but at the same time, she has Mithril. To their eyes, obviously, she doesn't own any of them. They're her friends. But to these guys who can't really see black through white, they just see her holding the same type of fairy, and then they're just picking on her for no reason. Keith also not asking Shal if he wanted to be a model really annoyed me, because Anne stated immediately that he wasn't serving her. He's my friend, and he continues to strike the deal, which I get. Keith is the one who allows her to enter, so we're actually getting a free pass because of Keith, which is great, but at the same time, he didn't ask Shal, so you basically forced him to do it. Keith's tie-in is quite nice. He has been inspired by Anne's mother. We've been told that he has a famous dad who was the former Sugar Apple Viscount, Hugh's former, basically. It's nice to see that he's got all of this motivation behind him. He's also going to be very skilled. Just telling us that shows us that he's going to be a very skilled artisan in general, and a nice bit of competition for Anne, which is really nice. He's also influenced by Anne's mum. So there's a lot of very nice similarities between them. Both of them also lose a parent. That puts him sympathetic towards Anne anyway. The only redeeming quality this episode for me. I also didn't quite understand Keith's dilemma. So I understood what he meant by the whole gossiping thing. Him now seemingly waiting for his dad to pass away before he can attempt his dreams. It just feels like they would still be gossiping about the fact that he was taking forever to become a sugar artisan. Plot this time is now hard left turning us to do a last chance scenario. Apparently Anne is now that unpopular, she's probably unlikely to be able to enter the next year. She's going to have many issues trying to even get apples, even if it is a good year. Odd, because originally the king felt so bad that he offered her a place regardless, and she declined it because she said she wanted to do it herself. So we know that he technically wasn't issued by her. Hugh has been up until this point always in her favour, which is weird that he's now suddenly vanished when we need him. We've seen a lot of people enjoying Anne's work. There's been a lot of people who have been happy to see her work, or there's been a lot of people who have kind of bought it. I know we had the slight incident where she says that nobody bought her work or something. Then we were shown that she did go and continue doing some selling, and people did buy her work because she showed me that they were buying it. So it just doesn't quite add up. And a lot of this really does feel forced, that we're just creating this last chance tense situation with Anne. Jonas not being reprimanded is just my biggest issue in general. You would know what his work would look like. He's been in your workshop for a while. You've seen his work. You would know what his norm was like. You would be able to see that, hey, this doesn't look like your normal work. What came out of that scenario the year ago, the scenario at the actual competition, was they knew he had cheated. They just wanted to get him to humiliate himself. The fact that Hugh even allowed her to punch him, you're telling me that not a single person in that audience was a member of the workshop going, okay, maybe the fault lays with Jonas. Maybe it's Jonas's fault. He suffered no consequences. Hasn't been my favourite in this episode, so there's not a lot more I want to say. So hopefully it's a nice brief episode for you guys. Hopefully it can redeem itself in 3 episodes. It's always annoying to me when I produce an episode and I think it sounds kind of negative. I've not enjoyed certain things, and I think there's a lot of places where the anime has done such a good job, and then it just lets itself go by slapping us with info dumps or telling us, oh, you've missed information, by the way, but we didn't want to show it to you. The bits that we've missed, all these little tie-ins, would have helped us piece together this situation, and now this situation just feels very left field. We needed some tension. Here you go. Have a last chance scenario, and Anne has to pass this year or the plot is done. I'm presuming because the light novel has a few volumes that it doesn't just end. Thank you guys for tuning in. It's a little brief one for me. Do make sure you have checked out the community post. My birthday is next week. I am flying out on the 6th to go to Germany. Your video is going to be bumped around just a tiny bit. You're going to have your video come out, I think, Sunday. I think your video goes out on Sunday instead. For clarification, do check out the community post that I have posted. It has all of the dates and what videos are affected and when. Hopefully I can relax, go and enjoy my birthday, come back, and Sugar Apple will have a nice episode for me to break my teeth into. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really hope you're looking after yourselves. Thank you guys so much for your continued support. It means a lot. Have a good day, guys. Bye-bye.